let's rather take you live because we are at the Western Cape's 9th provincial elective conference. That finally got underway after delays yesterday, hours of delays due to registration. And of course, this is the ANC in the Western Cape choosing new leaders this weekend. It's crucial heading into elections next year. The SABC's Atule Joka is there. Atule, so this is happening at the moment, is that correct?
Indeed, that's correct. Finally, it is happening. It is underway. The adoption of credential is currently happening. We know that the day one of this conference was mired by delays. 12 hours later, it seemed like it was starting, but abruptly it was adjourned until early this morning. But today, it seemed like they are fast-tracking everything. Everything is happening. Everything is in operation. Secretary General of the NEC, Fikile Mbalula, delivered opening remarks, and he touched on a number of critical and pertinent issues. He commended the unity in the province, saying that even though the regions have their different preferences, but they do not show that, they do not see sloganeering. So he really commended that. He also commended the outgoing IPC, saying that even though it was a temporary structure, even though the IPC has a lifespan, but they managed to steer the ship and managed to deliver this conference at the end. He commended also on Phala, saying that the ANC is busy dealing with that matter, and they will follow the mechanism, and also the law enforcement will help them until they make a decision based on the investigation and the outcomes that will come from law enforcement agencies. He also commented on Section 194 inquiry. We understand that one of the leading contenders here is Mr. Kubudile Janji, who is heading that Section 194 inquiry, whose name was also been mired in controversy as well, saying, of course, until there is concrete evidence against him, he will believe them so long. But I will speak to Mr. Sfiso Mtsweni. I don't know if I should call you the former spokesperson of the IPC. He says he's still the spokesperson of the IPC. Just talk to us about that report, opening remarks by the SG. What were your takeaway points from it?
Thank you very much for having us, and I'm still very much the spokesperson in good standing. Look, as we indicated yesterday, that as per convention, the conference is normally opened by the Deputy President or the Secretary General. In this case, indeed, the Secretary General has been here. He's assisted a lot, by the way, in what you raised about certain hiccups yesterday through his office. And today he's made quite compelling remarks. He went to town about a lot of issues, but what we take away as this conference is that we're not having a very chaotic conference, as much as, yes, there are certain views that we have, but all the delegates have really worked hard for us to get here. I think all of us have got one spirit, that the province needs a long-standing leadership. It's been some time since we did not have it, and he's really given us his blessings in order for the conference to continue, and we welcome that.
And also, what is happening now? Can you take us through? We know the credentials are underway. Just take us through the program to the coordinational report. Which sections will be closed and which sessions will be open? Well,
this is a closed session. You'd remember that the morning part was open. We've received messages of support. We've received the political report, quite extensive, enriching political report by the convener, Comrade Lerumo. Now we are dealing with the conference credentials. Who is supposed to be here, who's not supposed to be here, who's invited. It has just been delivered. The delegates are engaging on it. Immediately after that, we'll present the conference rules that will guide the conference for adoption. We'll also present conference committees. We'll present different commissions that are going to take place. Immediately after that, just before the organizational report, we are going to invite the elections agency to come and brief. We'll open for the open session so that everybody can get to see who has been nominated, and if there's any other nominations from the floor, we'll welcome those. And then whilst the ballot is being prepared, the organizational report will then be presented.
Another report that will be delivered here is the financial report, yes, which is quite a huge talking point, especially here in the Western Cape. Yeah. In our engagement with the IPC, there were some concerns that were raised around the finances of the province, especially that this province is also not governing. There are problems with amassing the resources as well. Can you talk to us about the financial status around that report?
Of course, it will be a closed session, the financial report. We will be accounting about the resources of the organization over the last 4 years. But I'm sure you can clearly tell that for the processes of this conference, we've been able to go far and wide, assisted by the Office of the Treasurer General, to ensure that we actually host this conference, the manner in which we've been able to do. The rands and cents part of it will be presented to the delegates, but I think in the main, what the financial report will be doing also is to make recommendations as to how best do we ensure that with the limited resources that we have, we are able to create a system that will be able to ensure that the ANC sustains itself. Because most of the money that the ANC has is through levies, levies to MPs, levies to councillors, and whatever friendly donors that we might have. In this province, quite few, because we're not a government or an organization in government, so you'd obviously have those type of challenges. But I think there is some work that was done. I can tell you now, unlike the previous leaderships, we're not leaving a deficit, we're actually leaving a surplus. So whatever leadership that's going to take place, at least there will already be a base in which they'll be operating from.
You said you wanted to denounce the politics of money. What did you mean by that?
Well, we said that we want this process, this conference, to be credible. We don't want the conference to be influenced by external factors. The Western Cape can no longer afford to have a situation where money becomes the determining factor of who leads this province. We want the branches themselves to actually stand up and ensure that the leadership that is there is a credible leadership. It's not a leadership that has given them money. That's why you would have seen yesterday when we adjourned, we had to rush to the hotels to make sure that the people who are in the rooms are actual delegates that are supposed to be there, and that there is no external hotels that are funded by faceless people. We want to account for each and every delegate that is here through transport, through food, through accommodation, and that has been done. Should there be any allegation that any candidate has utilized money to try and swing this conference, we are going to disqualify that particular candidate.
Still speaking on issues of money, we understand that it's important that to run a municipality, to run provincial government, you need funds. Briefly, if you are to come into power, how will you collect those funds?
Well, of course, as I'm saying, our job, by the way, as the ANC, that's what we've been doing over the last 30 years, is to be able to create a new layer of economic players, create policies that is going to allow for entrance of black entrepreneurs, entrance of women entrepreneurs that are able to actually operate in this province. By the way, 98% of the entire economy in this province is sitting in the hands of the white males. As you've heard the political report, the situation has actually deteriorated. 24% of colored women were in 2010 under the ANC were 24%. Today we're sitting at less than 20%. So we are going to create an enterprising province, and in turn, of course, we would expect that donors would actually come and assist the organization.
Thank you so much. Spokesperson of the Interim Provincial Committee, Mr. Sifiso Mtsweni, talking about a whole lot of issues that are plaguing the Eastern Cape provincial structures, saying, of course, they denounce the politics of money. They don't want external funders to fund the members. Hence, they even went to the hotels to make sure that there are no faceless donors to people who to come to the conferences, so as to influence and have a foot. And as you know, that who pays the piper controls the tune. So they want to make sure that they rid the ANC of all the monetary politics that come in there. But it says if they are to come into government, they will create an enterprise to make sure there are funds that are coming in. We will be get a chance when there are nominations to get inside. But other sessions, such as the organizational report and the financial report, will be in closed session, Francis.
All right, thank you very much. Tula Joke, as he says, we will continue to follow that ANC elective conference underway in Cape Town.